It's a sports car with 4 doors. Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and in collaboration with the Bond Group, we're driving the Aston Martin Rapide. This is so much fun because it's not an S-Class or 7 Series competitor. It's like an Aston Martin DB9 that you can bring your friends along for the ride. First, let's just talk about style. We'll get to the V12 in a minute. When you open the door, you notice these windows come down, and then in the back, certainly not designed for your baby seats. This is definitely meant for an adult. Man, when you sit in here, you could definitely feel yourself at home if you were on a racetrack. These are nice seats, they're enjoyable to sit in, and they've got plenty of lateral support. This tunnel runs all the way up to the front. We've got a little bit of storage, and this one has TVs in the back, special Aston Martin stuff. And even though this car was designed to be very low, it's 2.3 inches lower than the Porsche Panamera, I still have plenty of headroom, but I'm about 5'9", 5'10". If you were a bit taller, I could see how maybe this isn't your favorite place to be if you were like 6'4". The doors are gorgeous and the sound system spot on. Of course, swan doors in the rear as well. We'll take a look at the Bang & Olufsen system in a few minutes because those little guys, they pop up. Around back to open our trunk. It's not really a trunk, it's a hatch. Technically, this is a 5-door, and we've got our Aston Martin umbrella. You've got to have that. This is fantastic because you can put all your stuff back here and stand on the brakes and know it's not going to careen into the cabin. But if you need more room, you can do that. And when you look at the car from this angle, it's fantastic because you've got these 4 bucket seats sitting right in front of you. We'll pop that back up. Of course, it's an Aston, so every surface is touchable and plush. And it's genuinely not a flashy car. I think you can kind of get away with being discreet in this thing, although it's clearly handsome and a gentleman's ride. But let's open this hood. Under here, we've got our 5.9 liter, although it says 6.0 under here. V12 naturally aspirated. We love this platform. This V12 provides such a nice wave of torque to ride at the low RPMs, and it screams up top. It's a lot of fun. And it's mated to a ZF 6-speed, the Touchtronic 2, which you'd know from the DB9. And I believe the Vanquish has the same gearbox. We drove that a while back too. But overall, man, the exterior, I could stare at this car all day. It looks good, but it's more important to get out on the road because that's what it's all about when you drive an Aston. And unlike what you would think to be the competitors, the S-Class or the 7 Series, the seating position is all supercar. This really feels like you've just sat in a DB9. I love this generation of Aston Martin because even the key is special. We pop it in right here. We're greeted by a shouty V12. We're in sport mode. Let's go for a ride. All very familiar controls, and our Bang & Olufsen system coming up to greet us. If we turn it off, you can see that lower down. Very cool. Let's take a drive with only music we need to hear today is from the exhaust. It's rear-wheel drive with a pretty aggressive differential, but don't be fooled. Yes, it's a sports car, but it's still plenty plush. You can enjoy this on a normal road. That's what I like about British cars, is that British cars are designed for British roads. When you drive German stuff, they're designed to drive on the Nürburgring. They're designed to drive on like very well-kept roads. This is not. I live in New England. Our roads are a nightmare, and if you drive British cars, it's like they understand exactly who they're selling to. I don't want to lose my teeth just because I'm enjoying a sports car. I'd still like to be able to hit a pothole and not have to go to my wheel repair shop on the regular. You'll also notice my seating position is just so nice and low. I feel like I'm tucked into the cabin, but I don't sacrifice visibility because I have all of this glass around me. I can see pretty well, and these mirrors appropriately sized, not like little flimsy things that some manufacturers like to put on sports cars to make it feel special or sporty. I mean, this is just such an easy thing to live with. Now this is the same ZF 6-speed that came in the Vanquish I drove a while back, and I think you probably want to save up for that 8-speed if you're thinking about a Vanquish. However, in the Rapide, this gearbox really suits the car, and honestly it feels like it's tuned better for the Rapide than it did in the Vanquish. We've got nice paddles here. Pulls nice and strong. We've got 470 horsepower, 443 pound-feet of torque. But the way it's delivered, oof, delicious. It's a daily drivable V12. What could be better? It's hard not to love the gauge cluster in this generation of Aston Martins. Everything's gone digital. Everything's got a screen on it now. And with this, yeah, sure, you've got LCDs for your speed and your gear, but there's something really nice about having the anti-clockwise, yes, I said anti-clockwise, tachometer, and a simple speedometer that just tells you the information you need. Pop it into sport mode on the suspension and chase this BMW 8 Series, who thinks he's tough, but he's got a Rapide on his bum. That's what's fun about this car, is that it handles. It's a handler first. I think that's the benefit of having a car that was designed from the V8 platform. And if you hadn't noticed, this particular car has 38,000, almost 39,000 miles on it. That's pretty impressive, and it looks brand new. These seats are phenomenal. I mean, everything in this car, if you asked me how many miles were on it, I would not have expected that. So that tells me that this is holding up well. You can buy a Rapide with some miles, and it's gonna look new. Nice and gentle past these folks. By today's standards, 470 horsepower might sound normal for a big sports sedan like this. They're not giving it to you in a V12. In traffic, this is where you start to really appreciate a torque converter automatic, because I'm on the brake, can creep forward, I have all that control, and it's something that maybe we laugh about, but we've taken for granted because so many things have dual clutch transmissions, and they're clunky, they're not fun. It's not an enjoyable experience to drive those types of gearboxes in traffic. And like, look, you're buying a Rapide, you're probably gonna end up in traffic. The Rapide never came in all-wheel drive, and some may see that as a downside. Some may see that as like, well, you know, I need to be able to use this in the snow or in the inclement weather and stuff. I see that as like, Aston Martin is building this car for a purpose. Its handling characteristics are going to be sports car. It's a sports car with 4 doors. And it certainly handles like that. Oh my goodness, the sound. It's so adult. The overrun doesn't have some obnoxious crack and bang coming out of it. Just buttery smooth V12. There's a bit of a howl that this exhaust has at steady state driving. It reminds me, and I know this is crazy, reminds me a lot of that XK120 that I drove, that 1954 XK120. You can digging the sunset vibe? I'm digging the sunset vibe. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds, but that's kind of not the point. The point of this car is the chassis. Really easy to place, and the steering is fantastic, and it's still pretty light. I mean, it doesn't have a heavy sports car feel. It's a very Aston Martin kind of vibe to it. Something that I dislike about a lot of sports sedans is that they try to amplify all of the controls, meaning they have too touchy brakes, the steering is too sensitive or too harsh. Everything about this car is incredibly intuitive, from the steering to the power to the brakes. Nothing feels like it's exaggerated. It doesn't have to be exaggerated. The real charm of the Rapide is that it's not a sedan turned into a sports car like an AMG or an M car. It's a sports car turned into a sedan. My favorite thing about these V12s is that you don't need to bring them to the ragged edge. You can kind of use the top of that mid-range. There's always enough torque. When the Rapide came out, I wasn't really sure what it was. I figured, who's going to buy that over an S-Class? Who's going to buy that over the Panamera? Driving it now, having driven pretty much all of those cars, this is unlike anything else. This is incredible. This is a daily driver sports car that has a V12 that sits 4 people. Not only that, but it flies under the radar. I know that sounds a little crazy. It's an Aston Martin, but it's not flashy, especially in a color like this. Those who know, know. I think everybody appreciates a Rapide that likes cars. So thank you to the Bond Group for giving me a go in this Aston Martin Rapide. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive. I'll see you in the next one. And if you want a Rapide, check out the listing in the description. I was nice to this one. It's inventory. I'm not going to flog it.